anymore. We have laws. We don't follow them. Matter of fact, all the laws that we have, it's just one law trying to overstep another law, trying to overstep another law. And, what I've learned that's so real more than anything else in this world is that God's law, just 10. If you keep those, you ain't got to worry about man's law at all. God is in control. I pulled up this old thumbnail because it's true. It's so hard. You have people working to undermine you, undercut you, berate you for telling the truth, and yet all they prove is that they're more willing to believe lies and they're more willing to worship a human being over God. And I'm not going to bang with that, That picture in that little circle, that was at the premiere for Fade to Black. It was supposed to be such a great night for me. And what I remember more than anything was the stress. All of the fake, all of the fraud, all of the pretending I was happily married when the truth is I knew that relationship was compromised. And it was just something that I had to endure until I could find a way to get out of it. I had to burn down everything that I created while I was with that person just so I could walk away clean. And even still, they try to keep their hooks in me. It's odd now, just watching everyone scrambling and scraping and just acting foolish and just not wanting to accept the truth. I was listening to a content creator, and I'm going to shout him out for no fame. I don't have no issues with him. Actually, I like the way he rock. What I did have a problem with is that one of his former mods, who went by the name Sandra Love, was actually Danny Robertson, and she was in there as his mod, spying to see what he was talking about and to try to influence the chat or at least pay attention to who was supporting me. These people are insane. This is what they do. Funny, after I called it out when I went over there, I ain't seen Sandra Love over there mod no more. Just Sandra D. Isn't that funny how that works? You have all of these liars, all of these frauds, and all of these pretenders. And by the way, shout out to Maggie the Black Owl. I love your heart, and I appreciate you, and I love your intelligence. But I'm glad you finally got to experience what it's like dealing with these Black YouTube animals, because that's what they are. These aren't people. You could have a better conversation with a dog than you could with most of these Black content creators, and it's a shame. Because the Black content creators are complaining about white people doing Black content, but the truth is, it's the other people, and they're not clear, just white. It's the other people that actually give real, fair, critical thought, unbiased commentary, and just get to the heart of what matters. They don't want anybody here with large platforms that are getting to the truth, because their job is to keep the confusion going. When I woke up this morning and I was scrolling through Google, I saw that someone else did a whole nother report about this whole Busby lie that was invented by Danny Robertson. And meanwhile, now credible journalists are literally sitting there not realizing that they've been duped by an internet stalker on YouTube to report fake news. And the reason why I speak about these things is because people really don't understand what's going on in the backdrop. How media is ran and how it is pushed out to the public is crafted, calculated, and it's malicious. Just in case nobody understands, and I'm going to post up the evidence that I gathered from the articles online. Whatever they're saying here in YouTube, it mirrors on Google. So even if you don't do YouTube, even if you're not a YouTube content creator, it doesn't matter. Google mirrors everything that's running through the YouTube search engine. So this way, if a lie is created on YouTube and it gets enough traction, it'll make it to Google. And then as people and reporters start looking through Google and see the lies that are being pushed through from YouTube, they run with it thinking it's credible. Why? Because it's Google. Guess what? Google ain't God. Google is just another construct, a technology construct that's also ran by AI. So if you have duplicitous business leaders and owners like Leor Cohen that are allowing lies to be cultivated and protecting the liars that are doing it, what he's doing is allowing fake news to translate onto Google, which is a worldwide search engine. That's probably the slickest way to commit tortious interference without anybody really being the wiser if they're willfully blind. But if you have eyes, and if you can truly see, and if you're intelligent, all you have to do is follow the digital trail from where the story began. And now this Busby lie is all over Google, and I guarantee you, Danny Robertson is somewhere with a jar of peanut butter doing strange things to her nether regions, excited about how her little 14,000 subscriber platform is influencing and affecting global news. That's sad. It's beyond pathetic. But what really is pathetic is...
Yo, this is We-On-Loc Nation here with another live stream. I wasn't planning on doing this here because I wanted to wait until all the allegations came out, including the trial, but this is starting to get too good. So, I mean, Cat Williams was right when he said these words, um, all will be revealed, and all will be revealed in due time. And thus far, it's not looking good for Jay-Z. Even though I would say everything is alleged and everything will come to fruition if he's guilty or not. But until that time, we're gonna keep doing this commentating, y'all. Let's continue.
Oh, when I click off of here, none of this is real. What do you mean none of it's real? No, you really sat there online, tried to play victim, and then when I came to give you an honest answer on what I said, tried to play me out for clicks and views like you're pathetic. You call me bald-headed in 1 second and then say you weren't disrespecting me in the other? That only makes you an idiot. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what your grandmama's into, but if she's talking to aliens and dead people and she influenced you, that says it all. That bitch is crazy and she raised an idiot. And that's that. Blindness. Refusing to see what's there. The truth is if any of these jerk-offs running around trying to push this backtracking story, if anybody here is running around and refusing to go look at the actual video on the Just D show where she took 5 hours to critically break down every glitch and everything in there, if you're not willing to look at that, then that means you are choosing to willfully ignore real intel. That's it. Why, when y'all are going around doing panel after panel trying to convince people that you're not lying, why won't you sit down with the competing perspective that goes through that video piece by piece and shows it was altered, shows the glitches, shows where it was edited. If y'all are that real about trying to prove your lie, then why don't y'all sit down and do a critical breakdown of that video? I'm gonna tell you why. Because you know it's AI. Because you know it's a fake. And because you're doing whatever you can do to create chaos and nonsense to try to avoid it. That's all right. If y'all don't think we already got that footage with an expert, that's perfectly fine. That's going to make the lawsuit even more clutch because there will be all of the videos that y'all put up trying to convince the algorithm that it's real so you can keep the fake story going in Google. It's nasty work.
I think she might be talking about a particular video. The one video that I seen earlier this morning, which is quite mind boggling to me. I guess we can play it now since we're here. Um, like I said, I'm not a Jay-Z fan. I am not a Sean Combs fan. As a matter of fact, after all that's been played out in 2024, I'm just starting to say that hip hop music has turned real bad, y'all. Real bad because you got your top stars into some bullshit from out of hell that is no longer it's no longer permittable for children to look up to because all your top stars are gone except for your Kendrick Lamar's and all that other stuff. But this is a whole new generation. Jay-Z is 50 some years old. Sean Combs, I think he's what, 48, 48, 49. They're worth billions. I knew something was wrong when he came out with that list. And he had that little girl read that list. I knew something was wrong. But either way, I think the one that she was talking about was this one. Fair use.
Investigators, they stood outside Kim Porter house for 35 minutes. Once they went inside, they saw on the surveillance footage from inside her mansion, they saw Jay-Z and Diddy inside of her mansion, pushing her into that master bedroom with the double doors. I want everybody to take a step back and look at it. This was his baby mother, and this is why King Combs and them coming out right now. I want y'all to know, regardless of what happened, when the footage shows that Jay-Z was in there, regardless of if P. Diddy and Kim Porter had a fight or whatever went down up in there. God knows what. Jay-Z should have never been involved in it. As soon as they left, they went back to the party that Kim Porter just ran up out of. I want y'all to know one thing. Drop the RIP Kim Porters down in the comment section. Let me know if you're a fan of Kim Porter. Do you think that Diddy had his homie Jay-Z, the same person who acting like that ain't his friend now, when they got footage, they got pictures, they got years, over 10 years, a decade of evidence showing that y'all was connected in a more deeper way than everybody even knew.
It's a very sad and heartbreaking situation. And the sad part really comes down to the fact that they're able to manipulate a death certificate. P. Diddy has the will and the power to control and manipulate and pay off and have people in his pocket for whatever dirt that he may have on them. And it is very feasible that he done paid off the coroner to put on the death certificate a certain type of passing. I mean, I'm just speculating, but anything could have really happened that made this woman.
See Jay-Z in the back. That's not Jay-Z. I had to really look deep into it this morning. And I put it in the commentary section. And I said, arrested? Nah. What will they incriminate him with? They have his lawyers right now fighting for him. But what would they incriminate him with? They have to be the woman that was allegedly raped has to stand trial. She has to testify, right? She has to be the one. She has to be the one to testify. But I'm looking, and I don't see any of this shit.
Lose her life at such a young age.
Jay-Z need to watch out because they're gonna come for him regardless of what's going on. He still gotta go and face everything that went down because on all them pictures, the feds got the footage. They said that he on the pictures with Diddy. He on the videos with Diddy. He over there swinging on a swing over that water right there by the middle of that thing, right there in the back on the side, right there by the couch.
I honestly think they're not drawing too much attention to it just yet because that's an ace in the hole for them. And again, if you get one to turn against the other, they're probably going to both go down. There's not going to be no brotherhood when it all comes down to it because it's going to be a save at my own skin. At the same time, we don't want them to be in jail together. We don't want to have an opportunity to sit there and plan and plot together. So I'm going to leave you out here and put you in here because you're the bigger threat. Jay-Z ain't running off on his daughter. Jay-Z ain't running off on his wife. He's staying still and trying to move to where he don't get caught up in it and laying as low as he can possibly lay so that maybe the storm will bypass him.
It won't bypass because more names are coming out. As I said previously, everybody know for a fact what Diddy did. Diddy, he brought all these people into this. Diddy was the main one at the front line telling everybody what to do, how to do it, and how they should go about it. I want y'all to know, hit the like button, RP Kim Porter, RP Tupac.
But yeah, it's to me, Jay Z is one of the most slickest human beings ever to do ever to do it in hip hop. One of the most slickest, most I don't want to say disturbing, but it's something about his aura. A person like me can't stand, but at the same time, he is loved by a lot of people. He is in support of a lot of people. He has a lot of friends and he has a lot of enemies. A lot of friends and a lot of enemies. He has stepped over, and I ain't gonna lie, Jay has stepped over a few people, including Dame Dash. But I guess that was a what people would consider a business move when he took Rockefeller away from Dame. But then again, later sold it to I think Def Jam, and then later he I think he was part owner of the at the time the New York Nets, no, the New Jersey Nets, and I think he later on sold that. So he has so he has property, he has pride, he has pretty much everything. He has one of the most um, beautifulest aren't one of the I don't want to say greatest, one of the best R&B singers in the game. Yet cheated on her. I mean, the chicken's about to come home to roost if he's not careful. But as I stated before, I was trying to look for a video of him getting arrested. Couldn't find the shit because he's not getting arrested because they haven't found anything to try him for. They haven't found anything to arrest him. So I had to do my own research, even though I didn't want to. And this is what I found. I just went straight to the source.
All right, welcome back. A woman who claims she was sexually assaulted by Sean Diddy Combs has updated her lawsuit to include allegations that she was also assaulted by Jay-Z at the same party. The woman, identified as a Jane Doe, says she was 13 years old at the time the two men assaulted her at an after party after the Video Music Awards in 2000. Jay-Z strongly denies the claim, calling it heinous. He writes this in a statement, quote, "I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one." CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson is with us now. Joey, good morning. What do you make of this statement from Jay-Z as well as the updating of this lawsuit?
Yeah, Casey, good morning to you. I take it that he's swinging hard. He vehemently denies this, giving the indication that if this happened, then you know what? I should be in jail. And so why not bring forward criminal charges? And to the extent that the allegations in the complaint really do talk about what we've heard before, Casey, which is the drugging of someone. This also indicates that he would have held her down and forcibly raped her, which would be rape in the first degree, doesn't have a statute of limitations in New York. And so it should be investigated. But he really is saying that this is complete fiction. And last point on this, Casey, the lawsuit itself does give some indication of witnesses, not only the fact that there was another celebrity present, but after the fact that this woman went to a gas station. She was then a girl of 13, and a gas station attendant noticed her distress, and then she called her dad. And so there would be some indication of some witnesses, which it would take to corroborate the fact that something untoward, inappropriate, or illegal happened to her, if it did.
And mainly something did happen to her. The thing about it is, hasn't been tried in court. That's the thing. See, people are going to get this scoop and make their own assumptions about what happened. But until things are tried in court, we will not know what happened at that party, which a minor is not supposed to be. A minor is not supposed to be in no party. So I look at the father as, what the hell are you thinking? I look at the mother as, what the hell is she thinking? But I think the good doctor has some speculations about it. Let's hear from the great doc, shall we?
Year-old daughter. The civil suit. She asked the friend who drove her there and dropped her off. Now, Art, I have a 13-year-old daughter. Help me understand how anybody's 13-year-old daughter has a friend who's driving, who can pick them up without their parents' permission, drive them to Radio City Music Hall for the VMAs. That's the first thing. That's the psychologist in me. That's the educator in me. That's the child advocate in me. How does a 13-year-old know anybody that they can call to pick them up and drop them off at the VMAs? So soon when I saw that, I said something interesting is going on here. So as I read the civil suit paperwork further, I see that she didn't have a ticket to get in, nor should she have, because she was only 13 years old. So she says she stays outside the VMAs. She watches the VMAs on a Jumbotron. She says she goes over to the limousine row where the limousine drivers are parked, and she runs into one of the drivers for Puff's entourage or so forth. And he tells her that if you stay here or meet me back here after the award show, I have to drop off Puff. I got to drop off his entourage, some other celebrities. And when I'm done dropping them off, I'm going to come back and pick you up. According to the civil suit, the limousine driver told the 13-year-old that Puff likes young girls and you fit the description of the type of young girl that he likes.
That's a red flag.
So I'm going to come back and pick you up. So he comes back, he gets her. He
Oh, and by the way, parents should be tuning in for those who give a for those who give a damn about their kids. They should be tuning in to social media, and they should be finding out what, when, where, and what not to do when it comes to their daughters, and especially their sons. Let's get it.
takes her to the after party, wherever that was, and it's not clear whether that was at Puff House or some other location. So she gets into the after party. She sees all these celebrities. They doing drugs, they getting high, being sexually promiscuous, whatever the case may be.
And at that point, do you think a normal child would actually stay at a party like that? I'm gonna let that I'm gonna let that rock a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and let that rock a little bit. I want that to sink into your heads. Would you let your 13-year-old daughter go to any particular wild party without your permission? Let's go.
She says they give her art what she believes at that time to have been a non-disclosure agreement. So another red flag goes up for me because I'm saying to myself, if you're only 13 years old, how can they give you an NDA? In other words, did you misrepresent yourself as being older than what you really are? Because Art, everybody knows a minor cannot sign consent for themselves. A minor cannot sign consent for themselves. So if someone in that party gave this 13-year-old child a non-disclosure agreement, that means they were under the assumption that you were an adult and you did not make it clear to them that you were only a child. You didn't make it clear to the limo driver that you were only a child. And also, going back to the limo driver, Art, if he tells you that Puffy is into young girls, you look young, you're the type of girl he would want, doesn't that kind of signal to you that if he's coming back to pick you up, he's not taking you to meet Puff for a music deal. He
Nope.
ain't taking you to meet Puff for an audition.
Nope.
He ain't taking you to meet Puff so you can sing cameo on one of his artist's upcoming songs.
Nope.
He's taking you to see Puff for some kind of sexual activity. He
Bingo.
sized you up physically and said you the type of girls he likes. And he wants to take you to the after party. What else can he be talking about, Art, other than some sex? So let's go further. She gets to the after party. She says that there's waitresses walking around giving out drinks. She takes one of the drinks and she starts drinking it. She starts to feel woozy, lightheaded. She gets tired. So she decides to stumble to a room, a vacant room at the party. I'm assuming the party is in a home. She stumbles to the vacant room, Art, and she lays down because she's woozy, and that makes sense. You had something to drink. They said Puffy be spiking his drinks, true or false. That's what's out there. So I can understand that. But here's what I don't understand, Puff. I don't think a 13-year-old girl, or any woman for that.
Oh, she was right in the middle of a freak off. A 13-year-old. Think about it. Whether you drink, it could be a glass of water. The water is spiked, the orange juice is spiked, the lemonade spiked, everything is spiked with something. Yes, she was in the middle of a freak off. Quite interesting.
Point. And of course, we're talking about a minor. If you're in a party and you see all these celebrities and they doing drugs and getting high and being sexually promiscuous, if you feeling lightheaded and woozy, why not sit down in the main party area? Why not sit down in the living room or the dance area? Because as you know, Art, there's chairs everywhere at a nightclub. There's chairs everywhere at a home. So why didn't you stay within view of the attendees? Why did you wander down some narrow hallway into an empty room and lay in a room by yourself?
I have a better one. Why didn't you get out? I'd rather walk outside in the air to try to get some air if you're feeling woozy. I don't know if she had a cell phone or not. I would get on the phone and I would call my father and tell him to come pick me up, along with telling him the truth of where you been and why you been there. But instead, you're giving him shit, so he has to do whatever he has to do as a father to make sure you're safe. But let's continue.
And you 13 years old. She didn't say somebody led her to the room. She didn't say they asked her to go to the room. From what I read on her own, she ends up in this room. She lays down. Shortly thereafter, Sean Combs and Sean Carter enters the room together with a mysterious celebrity B who is alleged to be a female. So then I'm saying to myself, if Sean Combs and Sean Carter are about to sexually assault an underage female, why would you bring a spectator in to witness your crime? Now, it might not be beyond the realm of possibilities because in that lifestyle, as you and I know, they do a lot of crazy stuff. So maybe they brought celebrity B in there, hoping she would join in on the menage a trois, join in on the orgy, maybe engage in some same-sex activity. Who knows what they had on their mind? But on the surface, Art, I'm looking at these two men. And even though we're talking about a crime that happened 22 years ago, 24 years ago, they were still at the top of their game. Jay-Z done already had In My Lifetime Volume 2 that went like 5-6 times platinum. You know what I mean? He was about to drop the blueprint if he hadn't already. You know, Biggie done already joined the ancestors. Mace done already blew up. Puffy is at the top of his game. So they were still the kings of New York 24 years ago. They were still the kings of hip hop 24 years ago. So if you are Jay-Z and Sean Carter, Jay-Z and Sean Combs, Sean Carter and Sean Combs, why would you risk a witness partaking in you sexually assaulting a child? Why bring the witness into the room? I just thought that was a little odd. So anyway, she says Sean Carter assaulted her first, held her down. When he was done, he backed up, and then Sean Combs proceeded to SA her as well, assault her. And then after he SA'd her, he tried to force her to engage in oral sex. She began punching, fighting. She hit him on the neck. Sean Combs backs off. She says she somehow stumbles out of the room, gets her clothes, gets dressed, gets outside. She runs to a gas station. She ends up at the gas station. The gas attendant could clearly see that she's perturbed, she's distraught, she's bewildered, she's traumatized. The gas attendant allows her to use the telephone. She calls her father. Now, this is important, Art, because now you're implicating your father. You're implicating someone else in this now. She says she called her father. The father comes and picks her up. She admits that she tells her father that she lied to get down to Radio City Music Hall to attend the Video Music Awards and or the after party. Now, let me stop right there. If the father is still alive, rest in peace if he is not. If the father is still alive, Art, he's going to be subpoenaed to take the stand. He's going to have to testify. What did your daughter say when she called you? Did she call you? What did you say to her? How did you respond? How long did it take you to get to the gas station to pick her up? And the bigger questions are, the bigger question for the father, why didn't you drive your daughter to a hospital or to the police precinct to make a report? Why did you all go home? Did you take her to the police precinct for a police report, criminal complaint on the two most popular men in the hip hop industry? Or did you take her to a hospital to make sure she was safe, that she hadn't been harmed or hurt, broken bones, STDs, whatever the case may be. A rape hit. And if he took her daughter home, Art, I believe that's going to seriously undermine their argument, because what black father you know, you, me, or the brother down the street, if our daughter tells us she was assaulted and we go pick her up and we can tell she not right, we doing one of three things. We going to the police, we going to the hospital, or we going back to the after party and we about to turn it out. Do you feel me, Art? Them the only, there's no other option. This is my 13-year-old baby.
It's a sad, sad situation. But yet, again, we don't know who to believe. She has to stand trial. And it's like what Dr. Umar stated. If the father is still alive, then things can get interesting. If not, things can still get interesting. I'm not saying Jay-Z is guilty, and I'm not saying that he's innocent either. But there's a lot of Jay-Z has history. Let's just start there. Jay-Z has a lot of history. And some of us old heads who really know the game of hip hop really know what his history is, including Jaguar, right? So I hope things get things. I hope things are right. Things don't get awkward, and hopefully we can put this shit to bed. Now, let's get it.
My 13-year-old baby got SA'd by Sean Carter, allegedly, and Sean Combs, allegedly. And I don't drive her to the hospital. I don't drive her to the police precinct to make a report. And I don't show up with her uncles and cousins to the after party to turn it out. Something don't look right. So then we go further, Art. We go further. 24 years pass. 24 years. Y'all don't do nothing. Y'all don't say nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, Art. If she was an adult woman, I could understand her having to deal with her trauma before she comes forward. But she was a child. She was a child, which means it's up to her parents to press charges. It's up to her parents to get an attorney. It's up to her parents to make the police report. So, as a mother and father, why didn't you seek legal justice for your child? These questions are going to come up. Now, in the civil suit paperwork, Art, according to Tony Busby, what he read, her attorney based in Houston, Texas, according to the civil suit, she demands a jury trial. That really caught me, Art. I was surprised at that. She's demanding a jury trial. Why am I surprised? Because, Art, if she's demanding a jury trial, she's going to have to take the stand. She has to testify. Remember, the only people who can plead the fifth are the people being accused of the crime. Jay-Z can plead the fifth. Sean Combs can plead the fifth because they are the defendants. She is bringing the case. So do you know what that means? She's going to have to take the stand, Art. And I'm saying to myself, are you sure you want to do this if it's not true? And it could be true. I want to be honest about this. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. I'm going to look at this from both sides. And if the sister is telling the truth, Art, I pray to God she get every penny she wants. I pray to God that those who assaulted her get the worst karma that's out here in the universe.
I pray to God that she stays alive after she tells her truth and all the evidence is revealed. And if she is lying, then she's going to suffer the consequence. So one can be right, one can be wrong. We'll see.
Nobody should ever abuse a child. There's nothing worse than a sexual assault of a woman. There's no crime worse than the sexual assault of a woman. There's no crime worse than the abuse of a child. And when you combine them, Art, sex assault of a female with sex abuse of a child, that's the worst crime on the planet Earth. So if that lady is innocent, I pray to God she get all the help she's entitled to. I pray to God she get every penny that she's suing for, and any karma that comes to those who are responsible for that, they deserve it. So I will never defend anybody against injustice. But if she is fabricating this story art, it's going to come out on the stand. The lawyers are going to put her up there, Art, and they're going to try to make her look like she's some kind of promiscuous, money grabbing, stereotypical inner city young girl. They're going to ask her, were you a virgin until September 7th, the year 2000? How many men did you have sex with before September the 7th, the year 2000? They're going to ask her, were you part of a sex ring? Did you have a pimp? Was it your pimp who dropped you off at Radio City Music Hall and not some friend of yours? How many 13-year-olds have a friend they can call to drop them off? Were you on an assignment by your pimp? They're going to ask her these things. How many partners did you have by that time? And the biggest questions for the attorney, Art, if I'm for the defense, the biggest question that Tony Busby is going to have to answer, Art, what material evidence do you have? What 24 years ago, Art, what material evidence do you have to prove that she was ever alone in a room with Sean Combs or Sean Carter?
I think I want to go back real quick, and I want to save this for later. This is pretty fucking good. I mean, minus the 13-year-old and everything. It's just fucking sick. But we knew this day was gonna come. We knew this day was gonna come, and everything Jaguar had said, has been said, rings true thus far. Like, share.
Whatever they hear and whatever they see on a screen. And y'all are taking advantage of that. You're playing in people's faces. And guess what? When you get busted and you get popped, you're going to do whatever you have to do to try to get rid of assets, just like Tasha K did, to try to not have to pay. And guess what? I'm not going to allow that to happen because I'm not Cardi B. Cardi B is clearly an idiot. No disrespect. But with all of this stuff going on with her and Offset and that baby, and how the second that the rumors come out that that's not even Offset's baby.
Shouts out to Cardi B. And Tasha K still owed $4 million.
All of a sudden, y'all kicking in clubs, and then the next day you're talking about just sign the divorce papers, and you're literally trying to separate yourself from every bad choice that you tried to force on America to believe was a good life. Like, how don't y'all ever call any of these celebrities out on all the backpedaling that they're doing? The biggest backpedal of the year is Sean Carter saying that him and the Diddler were never friends. Just they worked together and they went to, they bumped into each other, but they were never friends. That's a fucking lie, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Yet, there are literally some people that are still out there worshiping that very flawed, demonic human being known as Sean Carter. Everyone who called that man Jehovah, everyone who put up that rock triangle, which is a sign for the Illuminati, everyone, y'all let a human being drag you so far away from God that you can't even admit that you turned your back on God and made this big lip monkey the God of your world. And guess what? While y'all are all running around, sitting around, trying to defend him, guess who's not? His wife. For better or worse, sickness, health, rich or poor, till death do us part. Wow. Guess that doesn't mean anything. The Carters, and now you're just Miss Knowles. Now there are reports coming out in white media where allegedly Beyonce Giselle is now confiding and being consoled by Michelle Williams, a bitch who she can't stand. Can't none of them stand Michelle. Michelle is a whole clown. She is a whole clown. And being treated the way she was treated and turning her eye and signing all of the NDAs that she signed. Because anybody that doesn't know you don't get to be around Beyonce without signing an NDA is an idiot, because that's just what's real. That woman has an NDA for everything, especially when Sanaa Lathan came out and told that story about, the biting situation and all of that. She was able to get that story off because she didn't sign an NDA, which is part of the reason why they hunkered down and made sure that everything around Beyonce Giselle is NDA tight. I'm just curious, when did all of this consoling start? When did all of this closeness begin between you and Michelle? Because I tell you what I do know, right after that Kamala disaster with the dance party with Beyonce, after that, oh my goodness, there was a whole interview that Michelle did talking about how she felt slighted that she wasn't invited. Like she was one of the last members of the last Destiny's Child before Beyonce decided to become Diana Ross and leave all of their asses in the fucking dust. Like, literally, Michelle, just a couple weeks ago, was sitting there talking about how she felt, how she would have really loved to have been there for that moment, and how she would have really loved to have been there. And even though she was working on Broadway, she would have tried to make, the time to get there, because what a historic moment for women in history, and how she was excluded. So let's get this clear. Kelly show up dressed in a man's suit as a Sean Carter stand-in because her own husband wouldn't be there to walk her out. And they present themselves as a couple for America, asking people to vote for Scamala. Kelly was there, looking like Charlie Chaplin in high heels. But not Michelle, the close friend and consoler and confidant, who is now just trying to stand by her friend and how she's trying to keep a brave face for her children. She don't give no fuck about those kids either. I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's the willful blindness. How do you go from being excluded from one of the biggest moments in this bitch's career, where her and Kelly showed up and they left your ass in New York to sing night after night after night, but now all of a sudden you the close counselor and survivor? White media talking about how Beyonce saying she's not going to let Jay-Z's allegations bring her down. You won't break my soul, and you won't break my soul. The fuck out of here. Really? It's just the willful blindness for me. Birds of a feather flock together. When you marry someone, it's because you see yourself in them. When you link yourself to a person in that kind of covenant relationship, like me and Odell, real rap. Part of the reason why I knew I could give myself to him completely was because he had the same values that I had. He believed in the same God I believed in. He wanted to make the same changes in community in the world that I do. We have so much in common. Like, even if we weren't in love, even if we weren't a couple, we would be the best of friends and still be working together because we're a kick-ass journalistic team. And I love that for us. And that's real. And in that, I can look that man in the eyes and say, you are my husband, and I will be with you until my last day. See, that's how it works in real life, in real relationship. So if we're supposed to believe that that marriage wasn't a business arrangement and that y'all were accomplices and y'all were really in love and really husband and wife, So your husband's going through what he's going through, but it's not going to affect you. That doesn't sound like a real marriage to me. And more importantly than that, you've said it on several occasions yourself, Mrs. Carter. He taught you how to be a woman. He taught you how to be everything you are. Your beautiful husband. I don't even know how people kept straight faces when she was accepting that award and said, my beautiful husband. Beautiful where? In his pockets? In his pants? Because you can look at this Joe Camel looking motherfucker and you gonna call that beautiful? It ain't his spirit, because it's nasty. It ain't his soul, because it's dark. And shout out to For No Fame. And thank you for reminding people that there are more black billionaires other than these weirdo rappers. Thank you for reminding people about Magic Johnson and all that he did with his money for the communities in which he did business. Thank you for reminding people, because people like to pretend like these little weirdo rappers are the only billionaires out here. No, not true. We have other black billionaires who do good business and who are community focused and driven and activated. But you don't see nobody praising Magic Johnson. You don't see nobody calling him Jehovah. No, he's just a man who wanted to do something good for the community and for his people, and he did. He created jobs. Jay-Z don't create no jobs. He only cares about himself. He's selfish. And he's proving it right now with all that's going on with Diddy. You go a whole year without making a comment. You don't say nothing. You totally go ghost, and then you wait until you are finally called out. And right before the avalanche comes, now all of a sudden, that's not your friend? What about your friend? Are they gonna let you down? Are they gonna be around? Yeah. What about your friend? Yeah. Y'all ain't friends? Y'all a lot more than that. Been a lot more than that. So if this is the kind of man that can devalue an almost 3-decade-long relationship when it gets hot, that's his character. That's who he is. And she's been married to him all this time. You can't tell me there's no way she didn't know he was a selfish piece of shit, lying-ass bastard. You can't tell me that. Can't tell me that. Not at all. And now all of a sudden his problems is his problems. Are you about to do a Jay-Z on Jay-Z, Beyonce? While Joe Biden is asleep? And Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce? I'm just trying to figure it out. Are you about to do a Jigga-Mane on the Jigga-Mane? But if anybody could do it and execute it well, it would be you and your parents. And I got to shout out For No Fame for bringing that up, because, see, we were going to have a conversation about Busby versus Spiro and what's real and what's just more smoke and mirrors. And I kept saying, there's just something off to me about the fact that the Diddy hotline is with a Texas law firm, a Houston, Texas law firm. Houston is very, very, very tight-knit. Everybody in Houston that got money knows everybody in Houston. Like the Olseens, they know the Knowles family. Like they all, the upper crust in Houston is tight-knit. Once you make it to a certain level, everybody knows everybody. Everybody consorts with everybody. Everybody does business with everybody. Behind the scenes. Hence, why is Matthew Knowles had nothing to say?
This screams, shouts out, first of all, like, share, subscribe to the channel, like, share, subscribe to the channel. This sounds like some wicked Illuminati shit to me. Whenever I see these two, my spirit is off. My spirit is just going off. Now they may walk up to one of these individuals and you might shake their hand or whatever, and it may be a normal day. But it's something that sticking with these people, following these people, calling out their names instead of calling for God. That's wickedness. Especially when I had a problem with him the whole time calling himself Jehovah, Jehovah. And who's Jehovah? The Lord. Isn't Jay-Z known as the son of the morning? What is the son of the morning? The opposite of Jesus. Who is the opposite of Jesus? The devil. Interesting.
About any of this regarding his son-in-law and his daughter. Now, we already know that Matthew Knowles cannot stand Jay-Z. Hates him because Jay-Z snaked him. And guess what? His daughter was down. And the truth is, the Beyonce gravy train is how the Knowles family survives. They built everything on her. Everything they have revolves around her. If Beyonce goes down, well, you think Celestine gonna go back to making hair weaves and units in a shop? Celestine ain't trying to do that. And when I say Celestine, I mean Tina. Celestine, that's her name. What you think she gonna do? What's Matthew gonna do? Because a lot of the business that he still does in the backdrop is off of his daughter's rep. If that goes down, they go down. And these aren't young people. These are elderly people now. Elderly. You really think they trying to mess that up? Hence, let's go back to the so-called my account got hacked and I didn't like that post. Right? Isn't that what Tina said? It was an accident. She didn't mean to like it. It was an accident. Much as she ain't confused when she going after Candace Owens. How to use social media now all of a sudden. And then it was boom. And then, the whole Mufasa thing. And that red carpet. All you saw was a bunch of people acting and pretending for the cameras because they know what's about to come. But For No Fame said something very interesting. Why is nobody looking at the Knowles family angle in all of this? Jay-Z has been a headache for them on so many different levels for so many years. So many years. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw something that said that Beyonce Giselle's donated like $100K to the Busby Law School. That's weird, isn't it? That's just weird. So you got Beyonce Giselle donating $100K to the Busby Law Firm Law School. And now all of a sudden, Busby is doing the Diddy hotline and doing the Diddy cases. And now when Jay-Z comes after him to try to stop it, it's looking real weird.
Yeah, all of it is weird. But let's share Sprite channel. Let's go back to the dot. Let's listen to the rest of the commentary.
Do you have any video surveillance? I doubt it. Do you have a witness? She said the only other person in the room, Art, was who? Celebrity B. That means Celebrity B is a friend. Celebrity B is a friend of Sean Combs and is a friend of Sean Carter. They not giving him up. Whoever celebrity B is, I don't see them giving up Puff or Jay. I don't see it. I don't see it. So if it was only four of you in this room, and the only person who can testify as to whether or not you were SA'd by Carter and Combs is their friend celebrity B, Art, what do you have to prove that you were alone with them? Number one, what material evidence do you have to prove you had sex with them? Number two, what material evidence do you have to prove that they assaulted you? Number three, how do we know you was alone with them too? How do we know that you had sex with them too? How do we know you was assaulted by them too? Or let me draw a parallel. The only way I see, maybe there is some video surveillance from 24 years ago. They said Puffy taped everything. Maybe they could find the tape. That's one thing right there. Number two, the only other thing I could see is if she pulled a Monica Lewinsky. Now, if she pulled a Monica Lewinsky and she has a pair of jeans or a skirt or a dress or a blouse that has Sean Combs's DNA or Sean Carter's DNA on it, Art, that would make sense. Maybe she tucked away the dress she wore and is hanging in a closet somewhere. It's possible. Now, if she got their DNA, she got them. There's nothing to argue here. If that young lady saved the clothing she wore from 24 years ago, and it has Sean Combs's and Sean Carter's DNA on it, she got him. You cannot argue against that. But if she ain't got a Monica Lewinsky dress in the closet, Art, and keep in mind, Monica Lewinsky, her situation got exposed 3 years after her affair with President Clinton. 3 years after the affair, Art, she still had the dress. We're not talking 3 years. We're talking 24 years after the crime. If there's no material evidence, if there's no witnesses, how can she win this case?
That's going to be pretty slim, to say the least. Because we're talking 24 years. And unless she saved that dress for over 24, unless she saved a particular type of clothing that she wore 24 years ago, that same clothing, which I fairly doubt. But then again, stranger things have happened. She's not going to win. She is not going to win this case. She is simply not. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove in the court of law, not in the court of public opinion. Damn the court of public opinion, because anybody can be judged by the internet. I'm talking about what she can prove in the court of law. Let's get it.
How can she win this case? Now, I want to go somewhere else with this too, Art. Now, I do have a question. If they were in the room with her, let's say allegedly and hypothetically, Sean Combs and or Sean Carter says, we were intimate with her at the VMA after party that Puff threw on September 7th, the year 2000. Yes, we were intimate with her. We did not SA her. There was no assault. It was voluntary intimacy. We were with her. But because she signed the NDA, because she showed up at the party, because she looked to be an adult, we didn't know that we were committing a crime. Let's just say they say we were with her, but it wasn't SA, and we didn't know her age. That's not going to fly, Art. That defense will not work. And the reason it's not going to work for two main reasons. Number one, it is your responsibility as a grown man to ensure that you're not having relations with an underage woman. You feel me, Art? It is your legal responsibility as a man to ensure that the woman you're having sexual relations with is not underage. So the fact that they thought she was older The fact that they presented her with an NDA, that does not absolve them of culpability in this. They're guilty. The other reason is this, Art. I work in schools, right? We all know 13-year-old girls. We got nieces, we got cousins, we got daughters, we got it all. Is it possible, Art, that a grown man can't tell a 13-year-old girl isn't underage? Like for me, Art, I don't know how. 16, they look a little older. 16, they may have the whole body of a full-grown woman. We know our women mature faster. We understand that. Then with the hormones they put in the food, they got breasts, they got buttocks, they got it all at 15, 16, 17. I get it. But 13, Art, 13 to me, even if her body is fully developed like a woman at 13, her face, when you look in her face,
Her face screams innocence. Her face screams, yes, I am still a child. Let me tell you something. There are men and there are men. There are men who look at young girls a certain way. Let's just get this free and clear. There are those men who look at young girls 12 and up as if they were their daughter and would treat their daughters just like the fathers that they should be. There is discipline. If I know those fathers to be, there is going to be discipline in the home. There's going to be discipline. There is going to be law, and there's going to be there should be love. Yes, there should be. But in a world where such things as intelligence and decency and control hardly even work in the United States of America anymore, we don't even want to talk about the other side. In terms of temperaments, of not getting their way and not getting what they want, and when they see a girl, mind you, when we flip over to the other side of how men act, how men look at young girls. I'm talking about the pedos. I'm talking about the stranger people. I'm talking about the people that we get headaches as fathers trying to protect our daughters from. And this is the reason why we give our daughters these rules, because we know how the darkness becomes. Ain't nothing good. It's like my grandmother said, ain't nothing good in the dark. Ain't nothing late at night but the devil. But nowadays, I hate to say it, some of you women are out of control. Some of you women really need to look in the mirror, because what would happen one day if I ought to cover it in another video. What would happen if all the men that you knew were gone? I'm talking about all the protectors, all of them in the world were gone. Who do you have to protect you? And you're 13. You know nothing. You know less than nothing. The only thing that you have is a cell phone. And once that cell phone is dropped, has low battery, you can only make one phone call. Just one. There's nowhere to run. I mean, the most you can do is try to signal police. That's the most you can do. But by the time you do that, somebody already been snatched you up already. snatched you up, put their hands over your mouth so you can't scream, what would happen? You have to think of the consequences of your actions. Now, I don't recommend a father lock you up in the basement until you're able to, until except for school, or let you out, won't let you out the house unless it's school or church or something. I don't recommend father do this, but as a matter of fact, that's dumb. That is plain dumb. But again, there are rules and there are regulations. And if you don't follow by these rules, I will let you out into the night. My daughter knows the rules, and the rules of engagement are this: until you are able to feed yourself, until you are able until you are able to start your own job, until you start paying your own bills, until you start knowing how to use protection, whether it be a gun or a knife or a mace or a taser or whatever the case may be, just in case I'm not here. And your mother, she can only do so. And the mothers, let's just face it, they can only do but so much. Now, I'm not discrediting any female who can protect themselves. I'm not disregarding that at all. But they're protecting themselves long enough to get to a phone. We're protecting you to the death. We will die for our children. Those fathers who practice common sense, intelligence, and decency. We are the ones that has to worry about protecting you from those who are not in their right mind, who think a girl who is underage looks so pretty to them that they are willing and able to do wicked acts towards them. That is in their mindset. And we must do any and everything that we can to be sure that your protection is worth dying for. Let's get it.
I don't know how you can mistake a 13-year-old girl for a grown woman. Keep in mind, Art, there is no BBL culture back then. There is no real breast surgery culture back then. There are no fake eyelashes back then. There's really nothing in the year 2000 that a 13-year-old girl could add to herself to make it look like she's older. Now, with that being said, I have had this conversation with some of my female supporters, Art. And some of my female supporters argue, Dr. Umar, these 13-year-old girls out here, if they put on the right makeup and they wear the right clothing, they can easily look 18 and 19. This is what some sisters are saying. I'm still on the other side of the fence, Art. I understand what they're saying, that at 13, you can dress yourself up enough and look grown and fresh enough to be mistaken for 18 and 19. But even if you look 18 and 19, Art, I'm still asking for your license. You feel me? If you 18 and 19, you could be 16 and 17.
The hell with all that. I'm like, I have my mother's intuition. And this is the reason why a male shares both traits, both masculine and feminine, even though we share a certain percentage of it. I have a tuition, just like intuition, just like my mom had. Let's just say I was single. Let's just say I was out and about and I saw a girl out late at night, walking or doing whatever. And I stepped to her. I said, "Hey, boo, what's happening? What you doing out this late?" And blah blah blah. The first thing I'm doing is pausing and I'm looking, and I can tell if you are underage or not. It's not just looking at your license. It's just looking at the face, looking at the structure. And the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, "Where your daddy at? Where your damn daddy at? Where that nigga at? Where's your daddy at? What, you need to go home. Go home. What the fuck is you doing out here? Is you stupid or slow? Go home." That's my intuition. I know who's matured. Me personally, I know a mature woman when I see it. I know a mature woman when I see it. You can just tell by the bone structure. You can tell by the face. You can tell by, it's not just about the titties and the booty. It's mostly about the bone structure and how big and how flam and how strong she is versus a teenager who has a similar body, but the body is more skinny. It's a little bit more frail. You can't just put makeup on and expect me to believe that you're a grown woman over 21. No, 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 no. You have to have a sixth sense about these things.
I need your license. Here's another big thing that's working against Combs and Carter, Art. Another big thing working against Combs and Carter. In most states, and I only know this by working in the schools and being a school psychologist, in most states, Art, statutory rape only applies to 14 and 15-year-olds. I want you to follow me on this. And this is going to be a big piece that they're going to try to use to convict them of this. Well, not convict, because this is a civil trial, not a criminal trial. But Art, if Jay-Z is found liable of the civil suit, technically, he may be convicted in the court of public opinion anyway, if you follow what I'm saying. Like, if he's found liable, if Sean Carter is found liable to have aided, abetted, or participated in the sexual assault of an underage child, I don't know what kind of career might be left after that. But stay with me. Some people will say, well, Donald Trump was found criminally liable for the
Smash it.
rape of a woman just a few years ago, and he still got reelected as president. So anything's possible in America. I get it, but Donald Trump is not a black man. Now, staying on point, here's the issue, Art. In most states in the United States, sexual statutory rape is for 14 and 15-year-old girls. And the boy has to be 4 years older than them. So if your 14-year-old daughter has an 18-year-old boyfriend and you don't like him, you can bring him up on statutory rape. If your 15-year-old daughter got a 19-year-old boyfriend and you don't like him, you can bring him up on statutory rape. And most states are 16 years old. 16 is the age of sexual majority. Once you turn 16, you can pretty much be intimate with whoever you want, and it cannot be considered rape. So 16, they're sexually liberated. I don't agree with that, by the way, but that's white man law in America. 16 is sexually liberated. 14 and 15, it's statutory rape if the boy is 4 years.
It's the type of thing that makes my teeth cringe, and it's the type of thing that makes me want to stack up all my hollow point bullets. That's the thing. We ain't listen, this ain't Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was I would say 16. No, I'm sorry, 17. He was 17 and Vanessa was 15.
Yep. Smash it. How old are you?
All right. Excuse me.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Yep.
This
I find this topic very interesting. That's why, it's very interesting. It's like a real life movie being played out. It's definitely real. I don't think Jay Z was guilty of that grape though. Not at all. It's a human chess strategy to separate him from Diddy, and it
Mhm.
worked. Now it's time to keep his assets and his, you know, like Kanye say, he doesn't ill for the higher ups, so they can't do nothing to him. But Diddy, Jay Z, all those other ones, they have to dance for them higher ups. And sometimes it's nefarious. My thing is Diddy is in hell on earth in Brooklyn. Jay Z is originally from Brooklyn. If anything happens to Diddy in jail, at all, while he's in Brooklyn, I already know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The world may not look at it like that. It is what it is. So yeah, I glad you're touching on this, sir.
The only reason why I did it was because someone put up a link that said he was arrested. Well, I was doing my own little research and I didn't find not one fucking thing that he was being arrested for.
Who was arrested? Jay Z?
Yeah.
Who? Jay Z?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not arrested. He was on an
But
event. He's not
someone put
arrested.
up his piece and put it on another body.
No,
And
they lied, clickbait. Those are not real content creators to me at all. I report on the real. He's at an event tonight.
people do like to do it. But Jack Wire was right. People just like to. They don't like what's real. They just do what they do for content. So I ended up looking up some shit on CNN, and his lawyer is speaking up for him. He ain't dead. Why do you think he pay his lawyer thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to handle cases like this? You know
And
what
they are
lawyers
very
tell you?
aggressive.
Yes. Do you
They
know
are
what
very aggressively handling. Uh-huh.
lawyers will tell you? Shut up. Don't say nothing. I handle it.
Yep.
You
And that's
paying
what he's gonna
Jay
do.
Z's paying his lawyer at least
His lawyer
in
is good though. His lawyer is really great. His that lawyer is like 100 grand to fight the prerequisite lawsuit. But if he went to trial, he'd be paying millions, like Diddy. And that's the point. They're trying to milk him. They're trying to drain his wealth like they did Diddy's. Diddy only has his property left because of his case. So yeah, that Tony Bugsby attorney, JD is a different animal. He's suing the pants off of his law firm, and he's not going to have any more victims or accusers because he's going to be too busy fighting his own case against Jay Z's attorney, which you see he's extremely aggressive. Like he's no joke. He's a beast. Okay, a beast. So Diddy, not so much. Jay Z, yeah, he's
well,
much
we all
more
know.
strategic and much,
Can we be real? Can
and
we be
he knew this was coming. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, can we be real? Can we be honest? I mean, the only reason why he got this far was because of Dame Dash and a few other people. Like soon, taking the company from Dame Dash, that was kind of a low blow.
I'm not. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. if this was Rockaware, Rock Nation, circa 2010s, 90s, yeah, all of that was Dame Dash, but Dame Dash has been out of the picture for years. This is all Jay Z,
I'm
and
just
he's
saying it's
learned,
business.
you know, yeah, but Dame Dash is on another level
I
of
know that.
business, and he did have yeah, he did have a higher business acumen back in the day, but today, Dame Dash can't even deal on the level of business that Jay Z is, and that's how you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't, you know, the most boisterous, but he learned a lot over the years, and you could tell. That's why he's in a better position than Diddy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Seriously,
Does he still
we all
own
learned
the?
something from
Does he still own
somebody.
the Nets? Do you know if he still owns the Nets or not, or part of it,
Yep,
or did he sell it?
yep, yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. For
Okay.
life. He owns the net. He owns them for life because he sold out this Brooklyn for that Barclays Center. That was the deal.
Mm-mm-mm.
He only owns 0.00000000001% of Barclays, but he got the Brooklyn Nets, and he has partners too. But yeah, definitely, he's going bigger now. You know, they are not bringing in the money that he's looking for. He's going after international soccer, aka international football. That put all NFL, NBA, tennis all together, hockey. They don't even make what those guys make in international soccer. So this is a big move for him. These allegations are coming at a very, uh, you know, sensitive time for him. That's why I think it's a human chess move. Soon as he's ready to sign a whole international soccer deal, he's accused of the allegations. Soon as he's in charge of the Super Bowl, which is coming up, he gets these allegations. So yeah, his attorney's going to work overtime to make sure this is cleared up because the NFL wanted to pull him off with these allegations until they saw the NBC News Live interview with the accuser, and I think they're gonna keep endorsing it because they don't. It wasn't convincing at all. Um, is this accusation, although it's not true, gonna stick with him? Yeah, people are gonna always raise his eyebrows. That's why the attorney made that big announcement about uh, Jay Z and Diddy not being friends, just professional. That was a very bold statement after all these years. So he separated himself completely from Diddy. No more his kids can't even play with them just because of his attorney saying they're no longer they've never been friends. It's only professional, and the outside world may look at it differently because although they go to a lot of events together, had a lot of ventures, their kids never play together. You understand? They used to do family uh, meetups, not vacations. They never vacation together. They did come across as they were friends, even his brother, his strategist, everything. He's the only other person that could call uh, him Sean besides his mom. Sounds like a really close friend. You know what I mean?
Really
But
most position.
the yeah, but now the attorney is like, no. So this is pressure. This is pressure on Jay Z's brand. And Candace Owens said it best. Something doesn't feel right. I've made an announcement. America should get ready for the biggest upset about this Diddy case ever. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Years older than them, or the man is 4 years older than them. Now, check this out, Art. If the child is 13 or younger, if the child is 13 or younger, it's not statutory rape. it's automatic, excuse me, it's not statutory sex abuse, it's automatic sex abuse of a child. Because according to the letter of the law, a 13-year-old child, Art, isn't old enough to consent to sex. You feel me on that? The law says if the child is 13, they're not, even if Combs and Carter, allegedly, if they did this, even if they said we had consensual relations with her, it's still considered sex assault, Art, because she's only 13. And in the United States of America, a 13-year-old child cannot consent to voluntary sex because they don't have the psychological resources to understand the verbal contract that they're entering into. So,
You, they were arguing. Some people were arguing today on the Peep Network that these girls on this big podcast show were hoop blind about being sexually free and liberated, right? And I thought to myself, these are grown ass women. They can do whatever they want. But then again, I thought it may sound harsh to when it comes to the men saying what they say. Now I'm starting to think this is going to hit teenagers because teenagers and small children, they although they may not know the show, at some point in time they're going to click on a particular show, right? Where these women, these particular women, I don't know if they're LGBTQ or whatever, but they're talking about sexual liberation. They're talking about being free sexually to do and have sex with whatever they want, and they end up getting away from their father who was a minister or whatever. You have protection. You literally have protection. And you got away with that because you thought that your father, your parents were too strict. Now I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying lock your daughter up in the closet. I'm not saying that. That would be dumb. But what I am saying is monitorize what your daughter is looking at. Me and my wife do that all the time. We had no problems up until now. Well, it ain't over yet because we got 5 more years to go with her. But needless to say, let's just say for the sake of argument, like she starts watching, I don't know, Love and Hip Hop or whatever show. If the parents are not there looking at it and monitoring or at least explaining what the where, the when, and the why, and the how, instead of just saying, don't watch that show, and you don't do what I tell you, or else you're going to bed, or else you're going to get a punishment, you're going to get a consequence. No, explain it. Explain it away. You know what my father used to do, real quick? You know what my father used to do? One time I got real trouble, right? Not only did he punish me, but we got into a car ride, right? And he took me way out west. Nothing but cornfields, right? And he stopped right in the middle of the road and he said, "Get out the car." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "You want to act grown. I'm gonna show you what grown is. You gonna abide by my rules, or you're on your own, and we gonna see just how far you go." Mind you, I'm at least 30 miles out. I'm 30 miles out from where I used to live. 30 miles out. Ain't nothing but cornfields out there. Cornfields, crickets, and possibly a couple of snakes. I didn't get out the car, even though we got into a car accident right before that, right after that. I learned my lesson that night. And guess what? He was in a wheelchair. So, what I'm trying to say is some of these women need to take note. Or do they not care about the consequences of their actions? Do they not care about who they hurt in the process? Because the fathers are kicking, are literally losing their shit trying to protect you. Trying to protect you. And you're going to do this all because your father was praying in the name of Jesus and all, it happens. But I will also say to the parents, you got to respect your daughters and your sons when having conversations. They can have conversations with you. I don't mind my daughter having a conversation with me with respect. With respect. We ain't going off that. We ain't flying off that. Huh? We ain't flying off the handle.
I said I agree.
Oh, okay. We ain't doing none of that. But you have a right to talk. If I feel your energy, I will let you flow. I'll let you flow. My daughter's 13 years old. 13. She's got all in this year. It's December already.
I know
Trish,
it has to be stressful
already.
Especially for that. I know the year went poof, right?
You know what? When my daughter's birthday, I cried tears. I didn't know what to do.
Oh,
I literally cried tears.
be a dad.
This is my daughter. This is my
I
firstborn.
know.
I would mark somebody if they dare cross the line. But you got women out here saying that they're sexually frustrated and I'm going through all this and this dude, we stopped at the bar and we had a couple of drinks and we basically fucked in the refrigerator. Monitor what your kids watch. More importantly, I mean, I understand we can't. Some say we can't send our kids, quote unquote, to their friend's house anymore. Or I heard this cousin's house. I can't drop my son or my daughter off to their cousin's house. They're cousins, blood cousins.
I never, I never did. I never did that either. And
I
my son
did.
is an adult. I never did that. Nope. Mm-mm.
They did a
I went.
sleep. They
I
did a
listen.
sleepover. They did.
But
Wow. Wow.
not
Wow.
everybody has that. Not everybody has that. Um, trust. Anything can happen, and it depends on the environment of family members. It's okay for family members if they're trustworthy, but not all ancestors walk in love and light, just like all family members don't walk in love and light. So you don't know who's who. Yeah, they blood, but that don't mean shit. So I was very protective, overprotective of my son. Forget it, I never had a daughter, my son. So I can only imagine parents who are raising daughters and sons because it's real out here. It's not just about the girls anymore, it's about the boys too. So don't ignore, uh, you know, the protection of the sun. You know what I mean? This is a cold ass world out here. And I'm telling you, I would have went to jail easy if somebody violated my family in any way, you know. So, but thank God, you know, because of the way I was, we was protected. This,
Trish.
what's up? Huh?
You know what? Some of this stuff makes me want to just pack up and just head to Africa. I'm dead ass.
There's no way you can't go there. Well, when you get ready to go to Africa, just make sure you go with all your family, because some places in the world in that continent isn't safe either. You gotta have your family to migrate. Single women, single men, a single parent. I wouldn't recommend it at all. It's a lot of violence, a lot of corruption over there as well. You got to know people, and you got to know where to. Just like the rest of
Mon
us,
has
you got to
been
know how
over
to
there.
maneuver.
Mon has been over
Yeah,
there a dozen
there's no
times.
escaping either.
Areas to go to. All I got to do is just ask
Yeah,
her, and she'll tell me. This shit right here is getting on my nerves.
right.
All of it, all of it. Man, people just crashing out
I know
over
they have
nothing.
an education.
They do. They
Yeah.
freaking do. And you know what? The women
So
over
this is
there
what I'm
are
gonna do.
much, much better. Just
What do you
saying.
mean the women over there?
The women over
You're
there are much
taking your
better.
wife.
My wife ain't
Shut
going.
up. No, they're not.
My wife is not going.
Whatever.
You know
Anyway,
how many you know
can
how
I
many
tell you
times we
something?
argued about this?
You,
I'm not
I,
ashamed to say
I
it.
don't want to.
We've argued back and forth about going to Africa, right? Dozens of times. It's like
It's amazing
uh,
over there. I'm retired. I'm definitely retired.
especially when I want to go to Senegal. Actually, I want to go to Ghana because my aunt's been going back and forth to Ghana for
God,
many, many years.
that's yeah. That's why I'm retired in Ghana. Absolutely. Not Accra, not in the city. The outskirts. It's beautiful.
Yes, yes.
I've been twice. I've been twice in the last 4 years, and I made that decision. Absolutely, it's amazing.
But these people are driving me nuts. Um, where was I at? Okay, oh, not that one.
I can tell you where I'm at.
Because why did nobody say anything about
What? What'd you say?
You first of all, you don't have the screen up. Secondly, I wanted to tell you that I'm gonna drop. Thank you for having me. Uh, you know, you make some valid points, but I don't think you should internalize all the evil, because you're not going to be able to escape it no matter where you go. Evil's everywhere. So smash it and protect yourself. Okay? Later.
Yes, ma'am. Shout out to Trish. Smash it. Let's continue.
Mrs. Carter donating any kind of money to anything that Busby had going on? Is this War of the Roses happening right before our very eyes? Is Beyonce and the Knowles family silently backing Tony Busby so that she can save her brand and let that big lip monkey go down? Ooh, that would be a nice play. And before you say that sounds crazy and that sounds out of control, let's not forget Beyonce was hanging with Diddy before she was hanging with her husband. And let's also look at the reality that Diddy has a reputation for putting female plants on men. Look at what he did to Curtis, 50 Cent, Winkle Jackson. He sent that baby mom over there to him. He ain't know she was a Diddy doo-wop bop until later. Look at the way he put faith in Biggie's life. Look at the way he put Lauren London on Nipsey Hussle. Has nobody even thought that it could be possible that Jay-Z was Beyonce's job for Diddy? That would be a cold piece, G. If the Baby and the Knowles family were silently backing Tony Busby so that she could make a clean break and save her brand. And then go on the I Survived Being Married to a Monster world tour. And oh my God, I had no idea. I was young when I got involved with Diddy.
That is very, very, very interesting.
I had no idea. And guess what? And then you write a book and you do a documentary and all of this shit. And the next thing you know, you do a bad remix for I Will Survive. And then everybody forgets that you ain't no different than these niggas at all. Yeah, no. I keep telling y'all, there are levels to this game. Many levels. You know, sometimes when my brain get to going, I have to just take a pause and reset and make sure all of you willfully blind people don't miss the lineup. You know, when you've been married to someone for a long time, you know all their deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh,
You know, there are things that a spouse will only tell their spouse, no one else. If anybody has the hang noose that can take Mr. Carter down, it would be Mrs. Carter. And considering that the fallout from Roc Nation's downfall and what it could do to the Knowles family's financial portfolio,
damn.
my God.
I don't want to start no rumors. But what I'm thinking right now is incredibly apropos. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that, of course, Jay-Z cheated on her in the past. So that's strike one. Strike two, you're going to try and you find out that allegedly, you're going to trial for rape, right? Let's just say you're found guilty. That's strike two. Actually, that's automatically strike three. And she had the ability, unless they signed a prenup, which I don't think they did. And if they did not sign a prenup, she can basically ruin Jay-Z for everything that he owns, everything that he has. Although he's worth like 6.8 billion right now. This is the man, top of the world, Rockefeller. One false move, he's walking on eggshells to this very day. Damn, that, oh shit. Now I know why people don't want to get married, which is a lame excuse, but whatever.
Is Beyonce set her husband up so that she can walk away on her Jada Pinkett writing books.
Bruh, this is some juicy stuff. Although that other thing from earlier, that was nothing but a blimp. Somebody really needs some attention. Jay-Z ain't going to fucking jail. Jay-Z wasn't getting arrested. Jay's not. Jay-Z's too slick. Jay-Z's too slick for his own good to be going to prison. Now, if this DNA comes up, and I doubt that will happen because we're talking 24 years. 24 years for this alleged case that happened, 24 years ago with Jay-Z and P. Diddy. But if they were involved and evidence does show and everything is legit, oh, they're going to jail. They're going to prison for a very, very long time. But like I said, it is quite bold. It's going to take a miracle, I think, for this woman who allegedly got raped 24 years ago by these two. We will see. We will see.
Birds of a feather flock together. Spouses are spouses. These are not good people. And they will do anything to hold on to their money and their power. It's just funny to me. All of the things that people choose not to see. I saw a little article about her being the most awarded and winning the most awarded female this of all time and so on and so forth. But the truth is, Beyonce, she's a thief, just like her husband. All of the royalties that she's stolen from songwriters. I mean, if you go back and look at her catalog, all of her big hits, everything that she's done, she's always jacking off of somebody else. All of the money that they paid to stop other artists who were better than hers careers so that they wouldn't slow her down and so she could look like she's the queen of everything. MIA just came out speaking about Beyonce and everything that was stolen from her. Like, why does no one want to see these people for who they are?
Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you have not done it, become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. We're trying to get 2 members by the time the year ends. Let's make that happen.
And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why y'all are having such a hard time with it. Because you worship them like they were gods. You praised them. You made everything about them. And now God is going to show y'all what happens when you put someone before him.
Ooh.
God is going to show y'all what happens when you make a human being your God.
Ooh.
He's going to show you exactly how they ain't God.
Even the mountains, this is in Revelations, even the mountains tried to hide from God. And if the mountains try to hide from God, you know what type of chaos that's going to be? Jeez.
Y'all can sit here and y'all can run around trying to pretend like you don't see what's happening. But I'm telling you right now, when it comes to media and when it comes to America, there are nothing but lies. Nothing. There's nothing there but lies. And like they say, The old timers. Scratch a lie, find a thief.
Well, let's go back to Umar.
That this didn't happen, Art, because first of all, for the child, I hope that this woman who's now 37, 38 years old, I hope that this didn't happen because I don't ever want to see this happen to no female. And we know Black women are assaulted more than all other groups of women, and their perpetrators are less likely to be held accountable, Art. But here's another thing that got to be looked at too. Here's another thing that has to be looked at too. From the political side, Art, from the political side, we had Bill Cosby convicted in 2018. We had R. Kelly convicted in Brooklyn in 2021 and convicted again in Chicago in 2022. We had Sean currently held in custody awaiting trial in 2024. And now we got Sean Carter not being accused of criminal behavior, but behavior that could have him found civilly responsible for the abuse of this woman. The point that I'm getting at, Art, that's four. That's four Black male billionaires in 6 years. If we just take 2018 to 2024, we have seen a Black male billionaire publicly destroyed once every year and a half. A Black male billionaire publicly destroyed every 18 months for the past 6 years. Now, even if,
And usually it's on the same day or date. Interesting.
you believe that these men are no good and they committed this crime, I don't have a problem with that. If they're guilty, they should pay the price. I'm not defending no one who abuses women or abuses children. I want to be clear about that. But if they are innocent, Art, and I do believe Bill Cosby was, I don't believe Puffy engaged in interstate sexual trafficking against people's will. I don't believe that. Sean Carter, I don't know, but I don't believe it. It still remains to be seen. But here's the point that I'm getting at, Art. If these men are innocent of even some of these charges, this clearly speaks to an agenda and a conspiracy to destroy Black male billionaires in this country. We only have but so many of them. The only ones left after this, look at this, Art. You got Cosby. He was an elder, but nonetheless, he's the most significant Black television figure in the history of American media. Bill Cosby, the first Black man with his own TV show. Bill Cosby opened up the door for Richard Pryor. So you got rid of Bill Cosby, or at least you destroyed him publicly. R. Kelly got sentenced to 30 years in Brooklyn, Eastern District of New York Fed Court. Then he picked up another 20 years, Art, in 2022, Northern Illinois Federal District. So he got 30 years in Brooklyn Federal Court, 20 years in Chicago Federal Court. They want R. Kelly to die in jail, Art. He ain't supposed to never get out. He's supposed to, he was 54. He was 54. He was 54 years old when he got convicted in Brooklyn. That was September of 2021. You get a 30-year sentence, Art, and you 54. You get out when? 84 years old. They basically telling you joining your ancestors from prison. And then even after that, he gets convicted by another federal court of an additional 20 years in Chicago. So basically, R. Kelly is supposed to join his ancestors from prison. Then you got Sean Combs because he sued Diageo Liquor and started that Black political party. And now you got Sean Carter. Who does that leave, Art? That leaves Kanye West. That leaves Tyler Perry. That leaves Tiger Woods. I'm missing one, Art. Who am I missing? Young Black billionaires. Tiger and LeBron James. LeBron James. Now check it out. Check it out. Kanye's still standing, but he was scandalized. He's still standing, but Kanye was scandalized. They tried to break him, though. He just survived it. Tiger Woods, still standing, but he was scandalized. That only leaves Tyler Perry and LeBron James. And if you notice, Art, and I hope both brothers survive it. If they're innocent, I hope Tyler and LeBron survive it. But they're trying to tie LeBron James to the Diddy freak-offs. Right now, they're trying to tie LeBron James to the Diddy freak-offs, and they working on tearing Tyler Perry down. They saying that he has his own surviving Tyler Perry thing where he's allegedly SA'd a bunch of young black male actors and did a whole bunch of other inappropriate stuff. So the point that I'm making, Art, is we have to ask ourselves as black people, as American Africans, is this a pure coincidence that they literally, right now as we sit here and talk, 6 of 8 black male billionaires in America, 6 of 8 of them are either convicted, in jail, could be convicted, or currently going through court for sex assault charges.
I forgot I was on mute. I have to definitively say, in 2024, excuse me, we're about to be in 2025 pretty soon. Negroes, you're gonna have to look after yourselves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all do, some of y'all do, some of you, y'all ain't the purest motherfuckers in the world. But I'm talking about those who practice common sense, intelligence, and decency. Start looking after yourselves, man. I mean, if you come across the woman, or you already have a woman that that's good to you, that's great. Y'all already married and have kids together, that's great. But for the rest of these women, I don't know, because the think about it. He just named off half of the celebrities that we used to love, or we used to watch. Some of them we still love. Wesley Snipes got in jail for tax evasion. We're not going to count him. But Cuba Gooding Jr., Snow Bunny, not Louis Gossett Jr. Who's the Morgan Freeman, Snow Bunny, P. Diddy, Cuba. You got all these celebrities that are Jonathan Majors. It's always a woman involved. There's always a woman that puts them under the ringer, and they end up losing endorsements, losing contracts. Anybody remembers the Ray Rice situation? But at least they're still together, allegedly. But everybody remembers the Ray Rice situation. We need to, y'all need to start looking after yourselves. Get your story straight, get your alibi, get your lawyer up, get your paper up. And I'm not saying hop the fence, because that's dumb. You do know that, right? I'm not saying hop the fence. I'm not saying get with a Snow Bunny, because they're just as worse as Tiger Woods. But anyway, get with a woman. I would say get with an older woman. If you are the same exact age, I would say get with an older woman, because at least she knows her worth. She knows what not to bullshit a bullshitter. You getting with these young girls are going to, some of these young girls are going to set you up because they have what? No fucking home training. But y'all ain't convinced because y'all, some of y'all just want to fucking duck. Well, fucking and ducking ain't working.
But you don't see the same thing happening with white males. Now, some people will say, what about Michael Jordan? I'm not including Michael Jordan. I'm not including Michael Jackson. Excuse me. Of course, they assassinated Michael Jackson. I'm not including Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Robert Smith, Oprah Winfrey. I'm not including them, Art, because they're much older. The only person I'm talking about who's older is Bill Cosby. Everybody else is a young black billionaire. Jay-Z is probably the most popular young black billionaire in America. He's far more popular than Puff. Far more popular than Puff. You know what I mean? And his popularity is right up there with maybe a Kanye or LeBron. But the point is, Art, anybody with two eyes can tell. There's clearly an agenda here to destroy the black male billionaire, the young black male billionaire. And I'll tell you why they want to do it. Because consciousness is at an all-time high with black people. Our children are learning more, reading more, studying more. They want to make sure that when they drop the hammer on black America, when Donald Trump drops the hammer on black America, they want to make sure that our black billionaires who still have some street credibility, who still have some connection to the hood, they want to make sure they don't bail us out. They want to make sure that the young black billionaire class does not come to the aid of black America when Donald Trump and the American white power structure drops the bomb on black America, the metaphorical bomb on black America. They're going after them, Art. Now check this out. I want to go another way with this. Let's talk about the New York City Council's Gender-Based Violence Protection Act. In the year 2000, New York City Council passed this law. It's the Gender-Based Violence Protection Act that protects women who have been the victims of abuse by men. I don't have a problem with that, Art.
Hold on. That might be a different show. That might be a different show. I want to save that part for later. Meanwhile, between while, this is We-On-Loc Nation saying that shit is getting real. Exposure is getting real, especially online. This is We-On-Loc signing off.